on YouTube at Deborah KC, DEBORHKYC. This may be one of the shorter episodes I will be doing for this season. We're in season 5 of Simply Stated Odds and Ends. And as far as a show today, I was going to put it off actually this week because I felt like I needed a break. I'm trying to do a little break actually this week from everything. But with some of the recent events, I decided I better go ahead and make one. They're not hard, right? So I will honestly say the next episode that'll be a bit longer was already in the can, peaking ready to go. But as far as this episode, what I want to talk about today is just for those of you who've been following national news or even news in the northern Michigan area, the entire area of northeast and northwest Michigan, especially northwest Michigan, is covered in a fog. Was covered in fog this morning and a strong smell of burning. Ash and cinder. And I mean, literally when I got up this morning, the sky was yellow and there was just a nasty smoke fog everywhere. Like you couldn't even see more than 10 feet away from you at first. So what that is that there's a series of fires that come out of Canada, wildfires, so supposedly wildfires from brush, and the national boundary waters in Minnesota have been closed. The fires have also spread all over northeast Wisconsin and caused a lot of problems there. They apparently went into northeast Wisconsin and spread over of northwest Michigan and then have passed on to the rest of northern Michigan. So wherever you are in the USA, the northern part of the US, where the fires have been localized to, are now being hit by wildfire, what are we going to call this, smoke plume, like ash that's actually created poor air quality. If you have asthma or other issues, it's not a great idea to spend a lot of time outside. And frankly, it's pretty damaging to the local tourist industry in northern Wisconsin, northern Michigan, which centers around people being able to go to really beautiful beaches. So the reason I put this show together is because I actually detailed for you who does these, who causes these. It is the same terrorist group out of Luther College in Iowa, which is actually a labor camp. It was started by the Russian FSB, and other people from the Russian GRU. And frankly, the U.S. government has failed to shut down. It's an operating center for them. This is the second one since the last time was, 2023? And the reason I say all this is because I gave you the name of the person who was involved, Michael Swanberg. Unfortunately, Dimi Shingili, who it's probably an alias, the guy who went to Luther College from 1998 to 2002, has been played working as a cop out of the Charlevoix Sheriff's Office, so not the police department of Charlevoix, Michigan, but Sheriff's Office. Martin Clammer also has been cited. He's a former professor of the college working out of the Sheriff's Office in Charlevoix, Michigan. You've had a number of other bad actors. Frederick Steiner has been up here repeatedly, who are all idling back to the school, and all noted actors, part of the Russian FSB or Russian GRU. Like, you've got a long list of people that, as well as Timothy McVeigh himself, who's Russian FSB, has been cited repeatedly in the area. And what this leaves you with is the reality that reports have been made repeatedly, the research has been done, I've made reports, I've made the shows, other people have done reports, or shows have been done, and yet once again, the U.S. is responsible for this, unfortunately. The fires starting in Canada, or at least on the national boundary line. They've happened before because of the same group. The same people I just named for you in this episode are those aliases that they use, which literally everyone is aware of, and yet for some reason somebody just decide to go ahead and do it. So tourism for northern Michigan and northern Wisconsin right now is obviously going to be ruined, but so is the air quality. And so for people living up here and working up here, which I do myself right now, one of the pleasures of living and working in northern Wisconsin, northern Michigan at least, is that you can go out and actually enjoy the beaches during the summer. So when someone allows a terrorist group that basically is obsessed with Russia and business and Chinese business and the relationships between the Russian FSB and the Chinese CCP, it's a complete slap in the face, the insult to the people of this country, frankly. It has to be detailed. It's been my life's work. It's also something I lived through because I was a victim of these groups, and I was held up until the age of 39, frankly, with labor trafficked by them. So, and I still struggle today to remain a free person. I also have to note all of this for you because there's been a number of events with the Sheriff's Office in Charlevoix people complaining, getting in fights, complaining of hostile activity from the sheriff's office. Not the Charlevoix police in Michigan, Northwest Michigan, but the sheriff's office specifically, which has a few people in it. I'm afraid they've actually gone ahead and employed the person you used to know as David Barnes, who would also be the actor Chris Evans, who would also be Timothy McVeigh, Martin Clammer, and Damien Gilly in that office. So right now is a really good time to avoid Charlevoix, Michigan. I can see that there's regular cops up there. The police force is fine. For many of you who followed previous shows, you know that when you have a sheriff's office, sheriffs are appointed, elected, and there's like a third option, but there's no option where they aren't political. They're political. Police officers are actually employed through the government. It's a different position entirely. So you could theoretically have a very good sheriff's office or a very bad sheriff's office. I'm not going to get into how the rest of you feel about sheriffs. I'm simply warning you about the dynamic happening up here right now. I am actually filming this in Elk Rapids live. There's been, you can see the air quality is very foggy. Normally this time of day would be absolutely beautiful. It would be very sunny. I wouldn't look like this. I look like almost yellowish. And you can certainly walk around the beach. It's bizarre to me that in filming this episode and getting myself together to come over and film it this evening, because I felt like it really needed to be done. I just want to say for anyone else, one, for those of you who are concerned about me, I'm safe. The wildfires aren't all over the place. They're simply spreading a bizarre type of ash and ruining the air quality all over. So for those with asthma or allergies, and really even those of you who just have lung conditions need to be very careful about being outside right now. Here's the other reality. These events have happened before and they've been reported on, not just by me, but by other groups, and it actually really isn't acceptable to just allow them to keep doing this. It's the same group. Like, when's it going to stop? Finally, I have to note another story which I know is somehow related to all of this, which is that during my time in the Washington, D.C. area, I frankly took part in some parties and events that were called part of the Resist movement. And it was just something that a person named Julie Germany put together. And Julie's a very fun, creative, talented person. And it's just for people who were in the Republican Party or libertarian groups that essentially were not going to support Donald Trump for president for his first term. And I participated in those. And unfortunately, we decided to invite a person to those parties that were in D.C. And there's pictures of them on my Facebook page if you want to look them up, named Katie Johnson. And after those parties, we noticed a number of us went through bizarre setups. Well, like, for example, I was walking around Capitol Hill, and I had taken some really cute pictures of myself with some artworks. And this person went way out of her way to pay a couple of weird people that she hired through what turned out to be a Russian FSB organization to make comments to me about the fact that I wasn't ugly, and they didn't understand why I was taking pictures of myself at a party with a piece of art in the back that said that Hollywood was for stupid people and DC is for people who are ugly. It's like, well, I didn't call myself ugly in the pictures. How pathetic and weird are you? And this was all traced back to Katie Johnson, who went on to get an appointment in the Trump administration in their Department of Education, and somebody who I had trained during my time on GOP boards. I just could not feel more betrayed by. I think I haven't seen this person specifically up here, but I just have to wonder, where she ended up in all of this. And is she just another... Because I feel like maybe I have actually seen her, and she did charge people with those whack jobs, who's actually Russian FSB and is up here dressed up in some weird outfit hiding. And is part of this. Because unfortunately, it is the Russian FSB that generally engages in terrorist activity in the U.S. Like, they're the spawning of the different cult groups. Even the presence of the Sinaloa cartel in Northwest Michigan today is tied to them. So, but I'm going to do a quick walk around the beach so you can see how terrible this has been actually for the tourist industry. Obviously, you can still go to the beaches and enjoy them, but how long are you even going to want to stay out here when it's actually hard to breathe? So, it isn't that it's overcast, it's the actual air quality that's been diminished. Somebody quoted to me that they thought the air quality was at like a rate of 150% bad. Something like that. Hi! This is a really short episode. It's already going to be over, so I just want to check in with you all. Thank you for being a part of the channel and subscribing. And remember, I'm also on OnlyFans at Deborah K, DeborHky. My OnlyFans will be fine, no matter what. So if I have to, I'll film episodes indoors. And I've certainly got lots of material put together for that channel. But let's take a walk around the beach really quick and look at everything. And yes, this is actually a spot like a year ago that a number of us were actually shot at by the person who now has been identified as being Damien Gentili, who apparently is working in the Charlotte Lake Sheriff's Office. I'm not going to say allegedly because I'm not filing a lawsuit. I've seen the amount of fighting that's already been going on up there in Reboyne town, so sun's come out a little bit here, but you can see what's happening with the lighting. Fires were a lot worse this morning, but see? Normally in the evenings, this area is usually pretty busy still, especially the main area I just gave you some footage of. But normally there'd be a steady, like maybe 100 people over there. But with what's happened, people are just simply staying home and not spending as much time at the beach because of what happened to fires. So it can, not really good for the tourist industry of northern Michigan, northern Wisconsin, and certainly not cool. So anyways, this is another episode of Simply Stated, probably one of the shortest ones you'll see this season. And yes, there is another one on the way fairly soon. So this is Deborah K. Further episode. I'll see you again another day. Bye.